From Spike becoming invincible to a huge problem with auto-aim. These are 193 Brawl Star things you probably didn't know. Everyone knows how to use their Supercell ID to log into Brawl Stars. However, in the Chinese version of the game, Supercell ID just doesn't exist. You see, China likes to know how young people are spending their time, so instead of using a Supercell ID for logins, they use WeChat, which is a messaging platform known for being controlled by the Chinese government. So this way, the Chinese government is able to track how much time people are spending playing games. Hey Xi Jinping, check this out. Most of you probably didn't know that in the Chinese version of the game, when your ammo is low, the health bar flashes orange. Everyone knows that in the global version of Brawl Stars, this bar flashes red when you're low on ammo. And this being changed is arguably game breaking. Yeah, nobody thinks that. Anyways, in the global version, the poison around the edge of the map is green and looks extremely toxic. But in the Chinese version of Brawl Stars, the poison is actually purple. Honestly, this is a massive problem because this just looks too friendly. Come here, purple gas. Let's have a tea party. Ow, ow, ow. Nobody knows about this Chinese version secret. After you get to 30 trophies on your Chinese account, you'll see this interesting yellow button. And if it's your first time playing, you'll probably have no clue what it's for. When you press this button, a new window will pop up showing you a list of servers. From here, you can join any server you want and get shocked when you realize that you're playing a 3D version of Brawl Stars. It's essentially a hangout zone, but unfortunately, we don't know if Global will ever get it. If you launch the Skull Break on Chinese Brawl Stars for the first time, you'll be shocked to find out that it's actually not Skull Break, but Cactus Break. As I mentioned before, China doesn't want to show violent images, and skulls are, well, violent. So instead of showing skulls, China decided to change it up for cactuses. But if you ask me, these cactuses look even cooler than skulls, and I'd love to see them in the global version. However, another super subtle difference in the Chinese version is the hit animation. Overall, these animations look pretty cool in the global version, but the Chinese version is just a bit lazy. Here, your screen just starts flashing white and it's really boring. However, there is actually a reason for this, and it's because China has very strict policies regarding violence in video games. But your screen doesn't only flash white when you get hit. The same goes for you when you attack things. They simply flash white as well. I can't really tell if this looks less violent, but I know for a fact that it looks way less fun. Japanese players have a smart trick up their sleeves. Did you know that switching Brawl Stars to Japanese lets you see exactly how many gems you've bought? All you have to do is switch the game's language to Japanese, tap the info icon, and boom! Detailed stats on how many gems you've purchased, earned for free, and spent. How have I earned -10 gems? Here's a secret trick only YouTubers can do. If you've made it into Brawl Stars creator program, you can get free skins from Supercell. But if you bought a skin from the shop before claiming it as a reward, you would actually end up getting another copy of the skin after you've already claimed it. However, you won't be compensated for this duplicate. So what was the point? We all hate Shade. Let me show you how to counter him. When that sneaky ghost hides inside a wall, thinking he's untouchable, just pick a thrower. Use your projectiles to target the wall, and you'll still deal damage, taking him down with ease. BossBot might think he's the toughest enemy around, so here's a way to humble him. In the training grounds, Sprout can throw his super to push BossBot into a corner, where he'll actually teleport over the wall. Now, I know this doesn't do any damage, but come on, this is pretty fun. Meeple has been around for a bit, but players have already found clever ways to make him super annoying. Just like in this Brawl Ball match where Baby stole the ball from the opposing team and was about to score a goal with her super. But just as she was about to pull it off, Meeple used his stunning gadget to stop the ball. It might not have been BB's lucky day, but it sure was for the enemy team. Piper just got saved by her rival Mandy in the most unexpected way. As Piper was fleeing from Mortis, who had the advantage and was closing in for an easy kill, Mandy's super came out of nowhere and blasted straight through Mortis like a train. Piper then simply celebrated her unbelievable luck by spinning around and picking up leftover power cubes. If you've ever wondered what a 0.001% chance in Brawl Stars looks like, it's definitely this. 5 Alien Fame players with gold skins joining the same 5v5 match. And yes, this actually happened. These players somehow perfectly joined at the same time, creating what might be the luckiest and rarest moment in Brawl Stars history. I can't even imagine how terrified their opponents must have been. I bet this is the luckiest 8-bit main out there. First, he dodges Cold's bullet barrage, then Piper's sniper shot. After that, he avoids balls and teleports out of Mandy's super projectile. And as the cherry on top, he manages to escape Tick's head by teleporting too. Honestly, watching this 8-bit's gameplay almost gave me a heart attack. If you're playing Tick or Nita and you charge your super, you've probably thought the best way to use it is to throw it directly at the enemy. But that's actually wrong. The best way to use your super is by spawning it near you. That's because when spawnables appear, there's a slight delay before they can move or attack. So spawning them closer to the enemy actually makes them much faster to charge in and attack. attack. Your team should take care of super management. This strategy involves managing your teammates' supers to maximize efficiency. For example, if your super is already charged, leave enemies for teammates who still need to charge theirs. Also, be careful not to take unnecessary damage, as that could charge the enemy's super and give a chance to completely demolish your team. Did you know players on the lower portion of the map have a slight advantage? Yup, that's because Brawl Stars game perspective is slightly tilted towards the upper portion of the map, meaning you'll have an easier time playing against enemies above you. Also, did you know you can actually tell if the enemy has reloaded their ammo? All you have to do is spot certain brawler animations. For example, Tick turns his key once after reloading, Gene touches his lamp, and Sandy bobs his head. Some brawlers don't have these animations, and some even have them removed. For example, Mortis had his lamp light up if his dash bar was full. However, Supercell thought that was somehow unfair for Mortis. Belle might be one of the best brawlers for pulling off rare trick shots, thanks to how her ammo bounces off walls. In one match of Gem Grab, a player randomly shot at a wall, only for the bullet to bounce off several others and somehow take out a penny on the other side. I bet you've seen some weird names in Brawl Stars before, but what probably never happened to you is sharing that weird name with your enemy. One player jumped into a normal match with the name I Hate Children, only to find their opponent named I Hate Kids. I guess we've got two teams to choose from now. Did you know you can deal 1 million damage in a single Brawl Stars match? Well, kinda. It's insanely hard to pull off, but YouTuber Sixwix actually managed to do it. He teamed up with two friends in Power League, and their plan was to keep tying Brawl Ball matches over and over again until they hit that crazy number. And the tricky part was, if they accidentally won or lost, they'd have to wait 6 whole weeks for the quest to show up again. So, after carefully picking their brawlers, they got to work. And after 16 drawn matches and over an hour and a half of grinding, they finally did it. Now that's some serious dedication. Speaking of clutches, this enemy team accidentally clutched against themselves. In a Brawl hockey match, the blue team completely messed up and all got wiped, leaving the goal wide open. But just as the enemy was about to score the easiest goal of their life, Ollie misclicked and kicked the ball in the wrong direction, causing it to bounce all over the map and escape. Then, Melody from the blue team respawned, dashed toward the puck, and pulled off the ultimate reverse Uno. Now that's embarrassing. Imagine beating one of the best players in the world. Well, that's exactly what happened when a random player stumbled into a match with Crestale, one of the top Brawl Stars pros and creators out there. But instead of getting destroyed, they absolutely wiped the floor with him and his team in no time. So, is he really one of the best players anymore? This has got to be a 1 in a million Brock clutch in duo showdown. He was stuck in a final 2-team fight, getting pushed by both enemies at once, and it looked like he was done for. But somehow, he pulled off the impossible. He used his super to take out one enemy, then instantly popped his jump gadget to dodge all of the incoming shots, and finished the last player with a single rocket. Okay, someone hired this guy for esports, but this player encountered one of the rarest moments in Brawl Stars. While playing solo showdown, he ran into an Edgar. Pretty chilling already. But then he engaged in combat, and Edgar actually ended up taking him out. And that's when something really rare happened. Edgar used the thumbs up emote. Yeah, Edgar being friendly? This might just be a sign that the end of the world is near. Edgar using the like pin is already rare, but you know what's even rarer? Multiple Edgars giving thumbs up in the same match. And that's exactly what happened in this solo showdown game. Plus, there was a kid also spamming the thumbs up pin. Yeah, it's all coming to an end. Do you want free max rank on your brawler? Well, all you need are your friends and the perfect trio: Colt, Gale, and Sam. As soon as the enemy team leaves their spawn, Gale places his jump pad, launching all 3 of you toward the ball. Once you land, Colt breaks the wall in front of the goal, and Sam uses his super to shoot the ball straight in. It's basically a cheat code. Speaking of Brawl Ball, when playing Chuck, make sure you place all your pulls before it hits overtime. Then, when you get your super, shoot the ball from midfield and use Chuck's gadget to instantly refill your super and drive yourself straight to the goal. And now you're basically playing Rocket League. Invisibility used to be just for Leon, but now everybody has it. Okay, not really, but you can make the ultimate invisibility trio by selecting Juju, Kit, and Lily. In Knockout, activate their invisibility gadgets at the same time. Then rush to the middle while enemies think you're still at the spawn and reappear right in front of them. This is totally going to catch them off guard and probably cause a heart attack. I made all my enemies quit Brawl Stars with this strategy. To pull this off, you'll need Brock, Willow, and Gale. First, get 1 or 2 2 kills. Then use Brock's super, but cancel it right after the first rocket launches using his jump gadget. Next, have Gale place his jump pad leading to the trap, and then to force the enemies onto it, use Gale's super to push and stun them, and also use Willow's mind control to guide them onto the pad against their will. And just like that, your enemies are trapped. Well, unless they find a way out. If you spot hard lane in game mode selection, just pick Shade and Barry for a free win. Shade can walk on water, go through walls, charge its super in proximity, deal damage through walls, and extend its range. Yeah, Supercell calls this balanced. But on this specific map, Shade is insanely overpowered, and pairing it with Barry, which heals Shade, takes things to another level. When the zone closes towards the middle and enemies hide behind walls and bushes, just damage them through the walls while Barry keeps you healing. Shade might be scary, but not as much as this ghost. Back in the day, players discovered a super unique scrapped brawler hidden in the game files, Bone Thrower Pet. At first, it might seem just like another Nita clone, but this brawler had a completely unique mechanic. Instead of a pet that fights on its own, Bone Thrower Pet would just use bones to lure its pet toward enemies, making it way more strategic. But for some reason, Supercell completely scrapped the idea. Maybe because Poco would always be his target. Get it? Because he's made out of bones? Danny has to hate Supercell, because at the time of upcoming Brawlies, Supercell decided to release his own Danny Piper skin. After designing the skin along with Paula Jessie, Supercell simply decided to never give it out to players and scrapped it fully. However, traces of these skins data were found in the Chinese version of Brawl Stars. Yeah, you might be angry at Supercell now, but not as much as me, because they also rejected making the Frank skin. Brawl Stars could have had a running game mode, because in the game files there was a mode called Reach Exit. However, it also came with assets of doors which go up and down as well as buttons that were supposed to open them. There's no known reason why developers decided not to make it a real game mode, but if they did, I think it would have felt like playing Subway Surfers. The absolute worst thing you can do to a Gus main? Steal his ghost. And guess what? That's exactly what you're going to do. When Gus throws his balloon and it drops a ghost pickup for healing, just swoop in and snag it for yourself. Heal up while he watches in disbelief, then brace yourself for a flood of 1,000 thumbs down emotes. Here's how you can trap your friends in Showdown using only Brock. First, pick Brock and start a match with your friend. They'll think it's just a regular game, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Charge up your super and aim it at a corner, then use your gadget right after firing to cancel the full super, so it only breaks one tile of the wall. Now, just wait for your teammate to respawn, jump into that single broken tile using your gadget, and voila, they are completely stuck. Bonus points if you spin and spam pins to rub it in. Speaking of trapping your teammates, Dynamite can pull off a similar, but way better trick. On a map with large wall structures, you can throw his super to break a bunch of the tiles inside. Then, when your teammate respawns, just jump into the broken tile with your star power equipped, trapping them all over again. Now they're stuck, and somehow you're still the most useless teammate. Get it? Because Dynamite sucks. If your friend is a toxic hit main, here's the perfect way to teach them a lesson. When they use their super to heal you in a showdown and end up stuck on top of you, just walk straight into the danger zone, and now you've both lost the match. Did you know Supercell once considered Homer to be a brawler? No, I'm not talking about that one, but this prototype that looked just like a Colt and could shoot only one bullet per attack. Back in 2019, just before Brawler days, some players dug up hidden game files and extracted this masterpiece. However, when they found it, it kind of creeped them out. Why didn't they just add Homer Simpson instead? I bet you didn't know Supercell scrapped this trumpet pin. Now, you may be wondering what's so special about it. Well, let me tell you, nothing. However, some leakers managed to save this sound effect, so take a listen. It still isn't known why they chose not to use this, but some players think they might be saving it to use in another game like Clash Royale, because let's be honest, trumpets in Brawl Stars? Really? But did you know hoverboard was supposed to be a thing in Brawl Stars? Okay, you've been fooled once again, as this was actually the codename for yet another brawler that was supposed to be added to the game. And this one had the ability to walk over water, shoot lasers, and worst of all, a creepy smile. Stop staring at me! Everyone knows quick message replies exist in Brawl Stars, but did you know about the secret ones? Yes, these messages were supposed to be more colorful, which you can tell by this photo that shows the messages with code tags. Now, although this is pretty useless, I have to admit it would be a fun feature, unless your friend picks blue, so now you have no idea what they're saying. Challenges are a pretty cool addition to the game, especially since they give out free rewards. But let's be real, they're only fun until you run out of lives. Everyone knows that feeling when you're one win away from the final reward, and then you lose the challenge. Seriously, it almost feels like Supercell rigs that last win just to mess with us. Legendary drops shouldn't even be called legendary, because let's be real, you're 99% guaranteed to get something bad, and that 1% chance is probably just gonna give you Shelly. They don't even compare with mega boxes, because back in the day, opening a mega box actually felt exciting. You could pull a legendary or a ton of coins, but now opening legendary drops feel more like a common pin pack. We totally need mega boxes back. I bet you didn't know there was a dislike pin that basically cost a team $1 million. It all went down during the World Cup Finals in 2021 when Tribe faced off against Ints in a siege match, and Tribe got way too toxic. Instead of focusing on the bolts, they kept spinning and spamming the dislike pin every time they got a kill. But karma hit fast. Ints turned the game around, took full control, and ended up winning the entire match, costing Tribe the championship and $1 million prize. Definitely the most expensive dislike button in Brawl Stars history. Back in the Brawler Time event, Supercell hosted a massive giveaway where players could win 1 million gems by posting a Valentine's moment related to Brawl Stars on social media. And one lucky couple actually won. The player shared a photo of himself and his girlfriend at a cosplay convention, and Supercell picked them as the winners. Since both of them played the game, they had to split the prize, getting 50,000 gems each. The plot twist? The guy already had a maxed out account, but his girlfriend didn't, so the gems were a huge boost for her. Seems like having a girlfriend is a legit way to boost your Brawl Stars account. This player literally had plot armor. While playing Jessie in solo showdown, she was nearly taken out by Crow's poison, until Crow tried to finish her off with his super, and got absolutely demolished instead. Yeah, Crow's probably not jumping back into Brawl Stars anytime soon after that one. Speaking of prototypes, did you know Shelly was supposed to have a pet chicken? In the early days, Shelly originally had a person following her around, but Supercell scrapped the idea because it felt a bit creepy. Instead, they came up with the concept of a pet chicken that would heal her during matches. And even though this chicken was a much better idea, Supercell ultimately decided not to include it in the game. Among the many early sketches for Project Laser, one stands out: a female version of Brock. Some players later nicknamed her Brockette since she had a rocket launcher and was essentially just a female counterpart to him. However, this concept eventually evolved into the Brock we know today, and many fans are probably still cursing Supercell for not letting us have a female version of Brock. If there was an award for the weirdest codename for a scrapped brawler, it would definitely go to Hook Dude. This character was designed with a super that could pull opponents toward him. Sounds familiar, right? But here's the twist. He used his scarf to do it. And guess who else rocks a scarf? Edgar. So maybe if Supercell had introduced Hook Dude and his scarf weapon, it's possible Edgar might never have existed at all. What a dream that could have been. But speaking of kudos, one idea suggests that they could be a reward in Star Road, and the more kudos you give out, the more rewards you'll get for doing it. It's sad Supercell decided to reject this idea, because if they did, we would get total world peace. Now, if Supercell wanted to add additional thrill and fun to their game, they should add more 5v5 game modes. Of course, modes like 5v5 Knockout have been absolutely hated by the community, but come on! You can't tell me that a 5v5 Hot Zone mode wouldn't get crazy. Just imagine having a giant circle that takes forever to fill up. There would be so many kills. Everyone knows getting credits can be super annoying. Imagine saving up for a future brawler coming next season, but then you get a star drop and get unexpected credits, forcing you to unlock the brawler you're currently working on instead. To fix this, players suggested that Supercell should add an option to choose where those credits go, whether to your current brawler, fame, or credit bank. Luckily, not everything is so boring in the Chinese version of Brawl Stars, because in this version, the shop is 10 times better. Not only is it cheaper, but there's also a ton more offers that make it easier for players to get their hands on some items and skins. And I'm not only talking about offers, but also entirely new items. The Chinese version of the game has some shop items that the global version doesn't, with one of these being boxes, but not your usual boxes. Here we have two brand new super cool looking boxes. The first box is purchasable using this currency called shiny tickets, and it gives you some boring PowerPoints, while the other one is absolutely crazy. This box gives you over 100 items, but not just any items, the absolute best of the best items. I mean, just look at this unboxing. When you first open the Chinese version of the game, you'll see a few new buttons which you want to immediately press. But what you didn't know is that the more you play, the more buttons appear. For example, after you play the first real game, you'll see this gift looking button appear on your main screen. Go on and press it and find a completely new, well, new to global players, task tab. After completing some of the tasks, you'll be able to redeem your valuable gifts here. How cool is that? The next one might be a little obvious because, well, it's a version made for one country only, China. In the Chinese version of Brawl Stars, you simply cannot change language. I guess I'll have to learn Chinese now. Did you know you can gamble in Chinese Brawl Stars?
Aw, dang it.
I mean, we essentially have the same thing in the global version, but in this version, you can literally use bunny tickets to spin the slot machine and get a ton of different rewards. In order to get your hands on these bunny tickets, you simply need to claim them for free while playing the game. Also, bunny tickets are the Brawl Stars currency only available in Brawl Stars China. This showdown combo might be on a blacklist. Okay, not really, but it's a total demolishing strategy. Shelly x Jean. To pull this off, both Shelly's and Jean's supers need to be charged. Jean pulls an enemy close, and Shelly obliterates them on the spot. Bonus tip, if Jean uses his hypercharge, he can pull in even more enemies for Shelly to clean up with ease. Supercell obviously forgot their maps when they made Shade. In Gem Grab, there's a map called Snowman Forest, which is literally an island surrounded by water. Now you might ask, but Balootic, I don't see anything weird here. Well, congrats. You should probably work at Supercell. The thing is, Shade can grab all the gems, phase through walls, and just hang out on the water until the match ends, making it absolutely impossible for the other team to come back. Honestly, I think Shade needs a buff. Here's a pro tip to become a world-class El Primo player. If you see Tick's bomb heading your way, just use El Primo's throw gadget to toss a bomb straight at your teammates instead and obliterate them. That way, you'll stay alive because, let's be real, El Primo is the most important player. My hero. This next hiding strategy guarantees an easy, cheesy win in wipeout mode, with no effort. It's similar to the trapping enemies trick, but this time, you're trapping yourself. Here's how it works. You'll need Gale, Jackie, and Colt. First, as Colt takes down enemies to get up points, he'll use his wall-breaking gadget to destroy a corner. Then, Jackie repairs the walls, leaving just one tile open. Finally, Gale places his jump pad, and you all hop into the spot together. Enemies will totally be frustrated trying to reach you, but all they can do is watch as they lose. Supercell pulled one of the biggest pranks on the entire Brawl Stars community with their evil April Fool's joke. They teased a meme skin called Egg Pam, which was literally just Pam shaped like an egg, and it instantly went viral online. Players thought Supercell was showing some love to the meme side of the community with this hilarious idea, but it turned out to just be an April Fool's announcement. However, rumor has it that they actually made the skin for fun, and there are probably files of it hidden somewhere in the game. Spike used to look absolutely goofy. If you check out his old concept art, there were versions of him with eyes and even a nose. But luckily, Supercell made the right call by going with the eyeless design we have today. Besides Shelly having her chicken friend scrapped, she's also the only brawler which got her winning animation rejected by Brawl Stars. In it, she essentially pumps up her shotgun and she just stands there. Yeah, I could see why they decided to remove it. Because if it was supposed to be a victory animation, well, that's certainly not how you celebrate. One of the luckiest parts of Brawl Stars has to be the star drops. During the Legendary Drops event, one player got insanely lucky, but in the weirdest way possible. Every time they opened a Legendary Drop, Supercell gave them everything related to Max, from Max herself to her hypercharge and even 2 skins for her. At this point, you just have to become a Max main. It's the prophecy. But speaking of star drops, this player hit the jackpot. While opening his Legendary Drops from the event, he pulled 3 legendary skins, with the rarest drop only having a 1.73% chance of happening. What makes it even more interesting is that it's a brand new account. Yeah, you can't tell me that beginner's luck isn't real. This Spike moment is both satisfying and lucky at the same time. While he was in a duo with Angelo and Brock, his teammate got eliminated. However, both of the enemies ended up with low HP. To avenge his teammates, he threw a random spike ball, and the spiraling spikes eliminated both of the enemies in one shot. Would it be this satisfying if I got poked by Spike? Nope, no it would not. I think this is probably the chillest Terra Shadow out there. While there's a furious battle ongoing, Terra Shadow literally eliminated all enemies without being damaged, and after that, it simply walks away like nothing happened. Even a chill guy isn't as chill as this Shadow, but that's not as bad as the BB getting rid of her generational luck. She dashes straight for the ball on the left side of the goal and grabs it, but now she's up against Rico and Dynamite, who immediately start shredding her health. Just when it seems like it's over, Dynamite makes a huge mistake. He throws his super bomb right into his own goal, and then as she's about to die, BB takes a shot into the destroyed part of the goal and scores! Yeah, good luck seeing something like this happen in Brawl Stars again. Did you know Willow is secretly the best Dynamite player? Sounds crazy, but that's exactly what happened here. Dynamite was about to get destroyed by Mortis, but then Willow took control, pulled off a stunning triple Dynamite jump, and landed an insane kill on Mortis. Honestly, Dynamite owes Willow at least 100 gems for that clutch save. One of the luckiest moments ever has to be when streamer Skrek was opening a hypercharge charge drop and wished for Piper's hypercharge.
One that I'm looking for, Piper. Let's go.
Then instantly got it right after. Yeah, who said Supercell doesn't hear us? Okay, now, please remove Edgar. Please remove Edgar. This Hank player literally pulled off a frame-perfect trick. While playing Brawl Hockey, he charged his attack at the exact same moment his teammate passed him the ball, and somehow triggered a bug where he could carry the puck while keeping his attack charged. He even hid it behind his bubble. Guess we can call that a $10 problem, right, Supercell? This El Primo accidentally became the hero of the match. During a Brawl Ball game, his team was about to get scored on. One teammate was already eliminated, and the enemies were closing in fast. Just as Frank rushed him, El Primo misclicked and used his throwing gadget, tossing Frank right in front of the goal as Spike was about to shoot. That tiny delay was just enough for his teammate to respawn, block the ball, and pass it to Mortis, who ran it all the way back and scored. Man, I wish my misclicks were this good. Megapig actually scammed this player, or did it? At the end of the event, this player opened his Megapig fully expecting the usual bad drops, but something insane happened. Every single one of his 20 star drops turned out to be epic, and on top of that, each one gave him 100 power points. He couldn't believe what he was seeing, and after some players calculated the numbers, they found out that the odds of that happening were basically impossible. Like, we're talking many zeros after the decimal impossible. Honestly, he would have had a better chance playing the lottery that day instead of Brawl Stars. I bet you want some free gems, right? Well, if you're in China, you're in luck, because unlike global Brawl Stars, Chinese servers get free gems every day. But that's not all. They also get free power points, coins, and sometimes even credits. So either all Chinese Brawl Stars players have maxed out accounts, or they're spending their gems on gambling. Who knows?
Let's go gambling.
Well, maybe we actually know, because there's a super rare box that can max out all of your brawlers. Yep, I'm talking about the amazing Ultra Box, also known as the Mammoth Box. You can get this box by spinning a lucky roll, but let me tell you, the odds are insanely low. And if you do manage to get one, you'll discover it's packed with over 100 items. And if you're really lucky, there's even a chance you'll pull an item that maxes out every single brawler on your account. So yeah, players who are on Chinese servers are essentially China to win players. I bet you didn't know that you can collect artwork in Brawl Stars, and this is through a pretty awesome feature that gives you official Brawl Stars art. You can unlock these artworks by completing simple quests, like reaching level 9 with Surge, and then you'll get a special Surge artwork as a reward. But here's the best part. Magic Spike opens these artwork chests for you, and they come with some unique effects. How does China have this, but we still don't have an Edgar nerf? Did you know you can stay in the zone until it wipes out enemies? While the old Miko and Charlie strategy might have been patched, there's a new Nani x Charlie strategy. Spoiler alert, you have to pass the Nani driving test. However, here's how it's done. As the zone is about halfway across the map, Charlie gets eliminated in the zone while Nani charges her super. Then, exactly 6 seconds before Charlie respawns, Nani goes into the zone and also gets eliminated. If timed perfectly, Charlie should respawn and activate her gadget that puts her in a protective web, which heals her over time. Once Nani is back, she uses her super with the star power that grants 80% damage reduction right after her immunity shield wears off. Finally, Charlie respawns again and uses her gadget, staying in the zone until the enemies are completely wiped out. But speaking of Nani, here's a pro tip to dodge her super. When Nani launches Peep to chase you, simply start turning to the side so Peep follows in that direction. Keep moving in circles and you'll confuse it completely. Peep's turning speed just can't keep up. Who would have guessed dodging it could be that easy? Most players don't realize that Willow can do this. In Showdown, if you're the last one standing against another player, you can just use Willow's mind control super to take control of your enemy and move them deep into the poison zone. They'll be completely helpless and ultimately trolled. Supercell has no reason to add this idea to Brawl Stars. Now, when we think of progression inside the game, we either have Star Road, Star Drops, or Masteries. Well, what if instead of only having Masteries on Brawlers, we also had them on game modes we're playing? Not only would this open up so much space for progression, but it would be fun to have some titles that are related to specific game modes. Now I can finally prove I'm the #1 Brawl Ball player. If you played Brawl Stars in its OG days, then you would know that unbeatable nostalgic feeling of the older season. Because of that, players have suggested adding a version picker in custom games so you can relieve those older updates of the game. Not only would this let you bask in the nostalgia, but it would also give you access to some of Supercell's past mistakes, like when certain brawlers were just too overpowered. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Edgar. This battle card idea needs to be added, but the problem is not many people have unlocked all of the brawlers, and because of that, only a small group even has access to global, solar, or alien battle cards, which is why Supercell never even gave attention to making them customizable. However, for the top 0.1% of players, this would let them become way more intimidating. Back to the shop once again, where I'll show you the coolest thing the Chinese version has: new skins. I don't really know their names, but I must say they look really cool. Oh, this guy looks like Buzz Lightyear. Well, not as much as the actual Buzz Lightyear brawler. But anyways, what's even cooler is that they have their own shiny category. And there are even 2 new exclusive categories. The first one is the purple star, and the second one is, Mad Square Guy? On top of all of this, the Chinese Brawl Stars is constantly adding and re-adding new skins that are exclusive from the global version. But while we're still in the shop, let me also show you another cool thing: backpacks. These backpacks are one of my favorite accessories ever, and even though you can't put anything in them, they still look pretty cool. In addition to that, there are also these things that go on top of your head as well as wings. This one even looks like a jetpack. It's pretty obvious Brawl Stars just wants to copy Fortnite at this point. I mean, why not add building in while you're at it? Wait, no, this was a terrible idea. This controversial game mode feature doesn't exist in regular Brawl Stars though, and while it arguably makes some games way more fun, for others, it ruins the entire experience. Of course, I'm talking about voice chat. And yes, the Chinese version of Brawl Stars has voice chat. You have these 2 buttons on top of the screen. One mutes other players while the other one mutes your microphone. What do you think? Should we get this in the global version of the game? Yeah, maybe not. Have you ever faced an unstoppable enemy team in Brawl Ball? Well, this blue team did, and they carried the ball all the way to the enemy goal. But just as they were about to score, the entire enemy team was on the goal to block them. To make things worse, Gale dropped his tornado right on top of the ball, making it impossible for enemies to grab it. It's moments like these that make you feel like Supercell secretly placed an invisible wall on the enemy team. Curse you, Supercell. Everyone hates Angelos that camp on water, but this one might be an exception, as he pulled off the luckiest clutch ever. It starts with Edgar jumping on Leon, only to get eliminated instantly by this pro Leon. Then Angelo, hovering on water, realizes he's in big trouble as a hypercharged Leon starts chasing him in a 1v1. Angelo lands a hit while Leon is invisible and jumps just in time. And as Leon thinks he's about to get an easy win, Angelo pulls off the luckiest snipe with 1 HP left, clutching the battle in style. We could say Leon probably hates Angelo now too. If you're playing Leon, don't be scared of Otis. If he hits you with his mute super while you're invisible and using your healing star power, guess what? You'll stay invisible and keep healing. Now that's overpowered. You know that feeling when Colette runs over you mid-battle? Yeah, I feel like I just encountered A-Train. Well, there is a way to completely counter this. Next time you're up against Colette, pick Fang, and when she tries to pull off her super, Fang can simply use his Corn Fu gadget to stun her in the middle of attack. Did you know there's a hidden Easter egg in Eve's ship? If you go to the brawler menu and tilt her head around just right, you'll spot pictures of her kids hanging inside. This might mean Eve is a loving, caring mom, or maybe not. If you ever wondered what top tier trolling looks like in Brawl Stars, then this is the perfect example. During a big boss match, the boss was Sprout, and the way he won was actually hilarious. He charged up his super, ran into a corner, and completely walled himself in, making it absolutely impossible for anybody to reach him. Then, he just kept spamming his regular attacks from behind the wall and literally won the match doing only that. I guess this is exactly why Big Boss got removed. Today might be the happiest day of my life because I just found out El Primo has a secret ability. Yep, you heard that right. He actually has a quantum tunneling super? What? And if you don't believe me, just watch this clip. During a gem grab match, a player stole some gems, hid in a bush, and then literally phased through a wall. This right here, guys. This is why El Primo is the GOAT. Mandy might be completely broken with this strategy. Her super can fire almost across the entire map, so all you have to do is call a friend to scout the enemy locations. Also, make sure to position yourself in the center of the map. Using a clock system, your friend can call out enemy positions through voice chat, and you can aim and fire your super at those spots. If you get it right, you can wipe out every enemy without even seeing them. You can win Heist with Chuck only. All you need to do is strategically place his pulls around the map, leading straight to the enemy safe. Then, use his super to zip back and forth, attacking their safe while defending your own. Even if they manage to take you down, just pop your super and boom, you're back at their safe, ready to attack again. Notifications are totally annoying, especially when your taxman messages you, but there's nothing worse than the low battery battery notification that always pops up in the middle of a battle, which you can't even mute. You press OK, and boom, you're literally eliminated. However, some phones have notifications that don't interrupt gameplay, which is something iPhones should definitely consider. Yeah, we're all switching to pair phones after that one. Teaming has been haunting players since the very beginning of Brawl Stars, and honestly, it's a total nightmare. You load into a solo showdown just to see 3 players teaming up against you and demolish you. Supercell already tried fixing this by adding duo showdown into the game, which didn't solve anything. But hey, if it takes a whole squad to take you down, maybe that just means you're a pro. Gold ranked was already frustrating, but the new system is even worse. Back in the day, you only need 12 level 9 brawlers to reach diamond rank, but after the rework, you now need 12 level 11 brawlers just to play in Mythic League. Yeah, inflation has even hit Brawl Stars rank. Look guys, I love El Primo, but some players make you wish he never existed. Okay, maybe that's a little bit harsh, but you've definitely played with that El Primo in Gem Grab. You know, the one who hoards all the gems, and just when your team's about to win, he does that El Primo jump and loses everything. I'd call those players El Mido because they're just mid. When a new brawler drops and they're completely overpowered, you already know what's coming. Every match gets flooded with that brawler. Seriously, it's like they're the only character in the game. The most insane example of this, Buzz Lightyear. When Buzz Lightyear dropped, the game basically became unplayable. So many players just straight up quit until Supercell finally stepped in and nerfed him. But by then, most people had already gotten bored and moved on. Some brawlers can charge their super pretty easily, while others not so much. But the worst pain ever is when you dive into a dangerous fight, barely make it to cover, and realize your super is at 99% with just 1 HP left. And then only to get killed the second you try to finish charging it. Ugh. I bet you've been invited by a friend to Brawl Stars at their place, and you were pretty excited about it. But then you realize they have the worst Wi-Fi ever. Every time you try to move or shoot, everything lags like crazy, and you just end up getting killed. That's also the moment when you do El Primo jump on their Wi-Fi router, which probably explains why they blocked you forever. Do you know who the biggest enemy of Brawl Stars players is? Okay, Edgar players are pretty bad, but there's someone even worse. Players with troll names in Brawl Ball. They're usually tryhards, and when they score, you'll see the wildest names pop up like, haha, losers, I scored. And trust me, there are much worse names out there, and they'll definitely make you eat your phone for breakfast. Here's the Chinese launch screen, and then here's the global launch screen. And it doesn't matter which loading screen Supercell introduces, they still need to make another one for the Chinese version. But hey, at least global finally has a better feature. Imagine having all those good looking features, but only being able to play 1 hour per day. Well, that's actually a restriction Chinese player under the age of 18 experience when playing Brawl Stars. And just to make things even worse, since 2021, they are only allowed to play on Fridays, weekends, and public holidays. But there's also an exception, where if it's Lunar New Year, they'll receive another extra hour of playtime each day. Yeah, I think Mbappe likes this change.
小红书，好吃不排队的餐馆上哪儿搜？小红书。
Bounty is already an infuriating mode, but if you really want to mess with your friends, pick the brawler with the lowest health. Right now, that's Tick, and if you have him at level 1, he'll just have 2,200 health, making him an easy one-shot target for most brawlers. Good luck surviving that. Speaking of Tick, his head bomb is probably one of the most annoying things in the game, but we're about to make it a million times worse. Just pick El Primo, and when Tick launches his super at you, use Primo's gadget to throw the head bomb straight over to your teammates. And boom! Just tell your friends they'll need to get better at playing hot potato. There are tons of ways to troll in Brawl Ball, but the most infuriating one has to be passing the ball to teammates while they're mid-fight. It's the worst because when you pass the ball, it eats up 1 ammo when they shoot it, and if they're playing Mortis or BB, it wastes their fully charged attack. That not only leaves them vulnerable, but also gives the enemies a huge advantage, and they'll probably pass the ball to them by accident. Frank's noise cancelling gadget can cancel every stun in the game, making it super useful, except when you use it in a mode with no stuns. So to piss everyone off, pick this gadget in a ranked match with the Sick Beats modifier, which completely removes all stun abilities. Now you've got a gadget that does literally nothing, and your teammates? Yeah, they're probably furious. Way to go! Buster is known for one thing, deflecting almost any attack thrown at him, but if you really want to mess with your teammates, here's a brilliant way to misuse his super. When your teammate expects you to protect them, just turn your shield the opposite way, completely exposing them to enemy attacks. They'll take all the damage, and if they ask why you're not deflecting, just say, don't worry, I'm keeping your back safe. Perfect teamwork, right? Everyone knows about the legendary King Frank skin that never got released. Well, guess what? You can finally purchase it, but here's the catch. The skin is only available through the Supercell store and costs 15 15,000 store points. These points are earned by buying items from the store, meaning if you want the skin, it'll cost you around $100. Alternatively, you can complete quests in pretty much any Supercell game to earn points. Now you can finally play as King Frank, though your wallet might feel a little lighter. Look at this cool trick you can do with Mandy. On certain maps where she sits on her throne, you can spot her casually watching the match like she's enjoying an ancient gladiator battle. However, if you select Mandy as your brawler and play on the same map, she won't be sitting on her throne anymore, because now she's the one in the battle. Most players think that there's a filter that stops you from matching with the same brawler as you, but that's actually not true. If you're lucky, you can end up on a team with the same brawler you're playing. And believe it or not, there's even a slim chance that all 3 brawlers on your team could also be the same. However, I found this out the hard way when both my teammates loaded in as level 1 ticks. How are you dead already? There's a way for you to get your own Supercell creator code, but Balootic, you need at least 1,000 subs. Well, don't worry, fellow brawlers. Supercell just changed that, and to get it, you only need 1,000 followers on TikTok, 100 subs on YouTube, or 25 followers on Twitch. It's literally too easy. That should mean I qualify too, right? Okay, maybe not. Did you know Cordelius and Lily use the same Shadow Realm? Okay, maybe you did, but this can be super useful, because if your teammate is Cordelius, then both of you can dive into the dimension together to finish off an enemy. Yeah, they definitely won't be expecting that. Barry's super can be so annoying, but did you know Bull can completely counter it with his super? If Barry comes rushing at you with his spinning super, just activate Bull's super and charge right into him. You'll knock him out of his spin and stop him immediately. Just another reason why nobody should use this abomination of a brawler.
This Dynamite was just trying to save his teammate Bo in the hot zone, but with Rosa and Kenji closing in, things weren't looking too good. Bo went down, leaving Dynamite alone against both of them. An impossible situation, right? But what happened next was the luckiest clutch ever. In a panic, Dynamite threw his super straight into the wall, but at the exact same moment, Rosa and Kenji rushed in for the easy win, only to get absolutely obliterated. Now that's bombastic. Everyone knows Miko can't attack on water, and this Juju just had enough luck to be in a 1v1 on a map with water. As Miko desperately tried to reach Juju, who casually walked on water, she trolled him with sprays and kept running until the zone finished him off. It's safe to say Miko's biggest enemy is water, probably why he threw his phone into the lake after the match.
If you've got pro photoshopping skills like me, then you've got to troll your friends with fake patch notes. Grab a screenshot of the latest patch notes and add wild changes like Edgar getting a one-hit kill buff, Kid jumping all over the map, or even your mom being ended to the game. Yeah, that would probably take a few extra gigabytes to download. But speaking of making fake things, another genius way to mess with your friends is do a fake support prank call. And by that, I mean calling your friend, acting like Supercell support, and telling your friend that they are in 1 million gem debt. But don't worry, if they buy 1,000 gems on your account, it'll go away. Okay, Supercell might ban you for impersonating them after this, but hey, at least you got some laughs. Okay, maybe not. However, the most lethal thing you can do to your friend is to simply start a rumor about them in the club chat. Start telling everyone else that they've been win trading, paying to get their account boosted, stealing their parents' credit card, defrauding the entire American banking system, and selling the data to foreign countries, or that they main Edgar. Yeah, that last one is definitely the worst. Of course, your friend will instantly reply and say you're lying, so make sure to do this at times you know they aren't online, or simply get them kicked from the club altogether. Now nobody will know I was lying. Most players think duels is the only mode without bots, but that's not entirely true. If you lose a few matches in duels and queue up again, you'll actually face a bot in your next match. Today, bots only appear for 1 round, but in the past, you could spam the play again button and keep facing bots endlessly. This let players rack up tons of trophies on their accounts with almost no effort. Man, I'm jealous. Who's faster, Carl or Mortis? Most of you probably said Mortis, but you'd be wrong. However, you can test this out by challenging your friend to a race and saying whoever wins gets gems. Then, all you need to do is use Carl's super and gadget to zoom past them and easily win the race. This is probably the best way to earn gems. Too bad when I tried it, I got scammed.
I bet you didn't know that Kid can dodge attacks while using his super, at least if you're lucky enough like this Kid. First, he finished the enemy playing casually, then jumped on the enemy on the lower portion of the map, and while he did this, Colt noticed him and came for what he thought was an easy kill. But what Kid did then is accidentally activate a bug which let him move up and down, dodging all of the bullets. Does it only look for me? Why can't I get luck like this? Today, I was checking my account. Something super suspicious popped up. A secret star drop from Supercell. So for the sake of creating one of the luckiest moments ever, I decided to open it right away. And Instead, it's Frank. Guess I'll be blinding everyone with his shiny bald head in game now. One of the most creative ideas for Brawl Stars that got rejected was trading. The concept was simple. Players could trade cosmetics, resources, and maybe even Brawler. It would have been the perfect way to use up those millions of unused power points and make the game more free-to-play friendly. But wait, did someone say free? Yeah, that's a hard reject from Supercell. Everyone knows about map makers. And sure, some custom maps are pretty fun, but honestly, the community has had enough of it. And that's when the mode maker idea popped up. Instead of just creating a map, you could create your own custom game mode as well. You'd be able to tweak existing game mode settings, add different objectives, and really get creative with the gameplay. This wouldn't even be that crazy of an idea either, seeing how games like Fortnite already do this. If you ever thought an enemy couldn't become your teammate, this Melody proves otherwise. So Melody's rushing to the goal like usual when Stu comes speeding in from behind and the goal is wide open. And you'd think she's throwing the game by passing the ball to Stu, but you'd be wrong. Stu actually passes the ball back to her, not once, but twice. And then Melody scores her goal. Yeah, this Stu just lost a generational aura. But no one was as lucky as this Edgar right here, who somehow escaped elimination not once, not twice, but 3 times in one match. First, he dodges another Edgar mid-jump while on low HP, and then another Edgar jumps on him, and he manages to flee again. And as the cherry on cake, Cornelius pops out of a bush. But guess what? Edgar escapes once more. Too bad he can't escape from me dive bombing through his window. This Frank might be the luckiest noob ever. He was hiding in the bushes, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When he finally used his super, he got countered by Kit, and everyone thought it was game over for him. But in an insane twist, Frank instantly flipped the tables and wiped out the entire team in under a second. I guess this proves that Frank is unkillable. Well, aside from the fact that he's a zombie.
If you're playing Gray and you are facing an enemy in a better position, try the pull and teleport move. Use Gray's pull gadget and his super at the same time, and you'll teleport while pulling the enemy into the spot you just left, completely switching positions. This trick is super handy in Showdown, as you can pull the enemy straight into the poison zone. Come over here! Did you know you could trap enemies inside unbreakable walls? Back during the Angels vs Demons update, Gene players had a hilarious trick where he could use his super to pull enemies into a breakable tile surrounded by unbreakable walls. Once they were stuck, there was no escape. All you had to do was position yourself near that structure and time your pull just right. While this bug isn't around anymore, if Supercell messed up once, they might do it again. So keep this strategy just in case. Did you know Ash can score free bounty points for his team? To do this, equip his gadget that exchanges health for rage. If you're up against RT in a bounty match and he pings you, activate the gadget to effectively eliminate yourself. But here's the twist. RT doesn't get the bounty points for your death. Instead, your team gets them. Who would have thought self-destructing could actually help you win a match? This Mortis pulled the biggest trick shot in the game. Well, not really. In this Brawl Ball match, Bo cleared out the entire enemy team at the goal, giving Mortis a perfect chance to score. But instead of taking the shot, Mortis pulled out his secret move, waiting for the enemy team to respawn and passing the ball right to them, which ended up losing the game for his team. Speaking of trick shots, this one's actually real. Maisie pulled off a true solo score in Brawl Ball against 3 enemies. She had the ball, while her teammates were eliminated, and the goal was fully defended. But just when the enemy team thought they had the upper hand, Maisie used her super to knock all of them back and scored a goal, tying the match. She definitely got back pain from all of that carrying. If you see a map full of bushes and want to dominate, pick Bo with his circling eagle star power. This ability lets you and your teammates see a wider radius inside bushes, giving you a huge advantage. With this, sneaky enemies like Edgar won't catch you off guard anymore. Back to the lobby! Here's a pro tip every player should know. Don't hold on to your gadgets and supers for too long. In most cases, waiting for the perfect moment means you might never use them effectively, or even worse, you might just get eliminated before you have the chance. However, if this is you, remember that supers can be recharged and gadgets come with at least 3 charges. So try to use them wisely, but don't hesitate. You're better off taking the shot than missing your chance entirely. Here's a strategy that might seem toxic, but is actually genius in Brawl Ball. When the enemy team gets completely wiped and you have a free shot at the goal, don't rush to score. If it's your first goal, spinning and delaying it takes precious time away from the enemy team in the next round, making it harder for them to do a comeback.
What happens when you're lucky, but in the opposite way? Well, you'd be this Nani. She sends her drone flying toward Colette, who dodges it perfectly. Then, Nani activates her teleportation gadget, only to land right on a jump pad that launches her straight into Shelly and Bull, who absolutely obliterate her. Now she's a literal dust. If you thought own goals didn't exist in Brawl Stars, well, this Sprout proved otherwise. In this reverse lucky moment, Sprout is up against opponents who shoot the ball straight toward the goal, but as he desperately tries to block it with his super, he instead pushes the ball right into his own goal. Yeah, this was insanely lucky to even occur, but I don't think he was very happy about it. If you get bored while playing Brawl Stars, then there's one thing you could do that will save the world, and here's how you're going to do it. Go load up Brawl Talk, get frustrated by Branks' bald head blinding you, then learn how to be a Photoshop pro and just slap some hair onto Franks' head. Boom, problem solved. Phew. Finally, you can watch Brawl Talk in peace. Sorry, Frank. Speaking of 1v1s, here's a sneaky way to make your friends' brawler completely useless. When setting up a friendly battle, pick a map from Map Maker that's 99% water. Then choose a water walking brawler. While you roam freely, your friend will be stuck in one spot, completely helpless. But if you want them to get really mad after you win, ask if they want a rematch. This Meeple troll will make players go mad. Because Meeple is a new brawler whose super lets you place a wall anywhere you want, just drop his wall cage on your friend to trap them completely. It's so effective. It might even outdo the classic Sprout trap. Speaking of Meeple's trap, did you know there's actually a way to use his gadget infinitely? All you need is a friend playing Doug to revive you after you die. And voila! You can now throw Meeple's gadget as many times as you want. After trolling your enemies for a while, why not turn the tables and troll your friends? Just trap them with your walls and keep them stuck forever. Try disabling your friends' main brawler. If you know their favorite brawler, just ban it during the banning phase. Of course, you need to be at least diamond rank to pull this off, so you'll have to get a little bit of skill. But if you don't know their main brawler, you can just ban the brawler they pre-picked in the menu. Now they'll be stuck with a brawler they hate and will probably boil their phone in a pot. Janet's hypercharge lets you fully control her movements while flying through the air, so let's use this to become the most useless player in history. Just charge her super and hypercharge in battle, then fly up and hover in one spot, doing absolutely nothing. If your friends ask why you're slacking, just tell them the autopilot turned off. Sprouts with hypercharges might think that they're unstoppable against Cordelius, but think again. If you get pulled into Cordelius's dimension after deploying your hypercharged super, you'll notice something strange. It won't deal any damage to Cordelius inside the dimension, even though you can still see the wall. Uh-oh. Did you know you can make Carl's pickaxe disappear? If you've got a gray on your team, have him throw his teleport super on the ground. Then, right as Carl throws his pickaxe, go through the teleporter, and boom! The pickaxe vanishes into thin air. Guess his pickaxe teleported straight into Minecraft.
You've probably had to grind ranked before, and it's always rough when you get stuck with bad randoms. But the absolute worst feeling is being just 12 points away from ranking up to something like Mythic, only to lose the next match and drop all the way down to Bronze. At this point, it's basically a canon event for every Brawl Stars player. Everyone loves when brawlers get released, but what's even better is grabbing them early from Star Road by forwarding credits during that limited time window. But the worst feeling, when you're just a little bit late and finally start grinding credits, only to realize you need way more than you thought. So you're like, fine, I'll just spend some gems to skip the grind. But then, boom, you're literally one gem short. One single gem. If this has ever happened to you, you already know. Your luck is actually cursed. This Colt accidentally triggered one of the rarest glitches in the game. While playing Hockey Brawl to warm up for ranked, he shot the puck toward the left side, only for it to bounce off literal air and somehow go straight into the goal. No walls, no brawlers, just air. And honestly, this is exactly why the community called Supercell Bugacell. This is easily one of the craziest close call clutches in Brawl Stars history. In a heist match, the enemy team brought the safe down to just 7%, and it looked like a guaranteed win. That was until Daryl rushed in, took out one of the enemies, and opened up the path for Brock and Jesse to charge forward. Then the 15-second countdown started ticking, and in the last second push, both Brock and Jesse activated their hypercharges and melted the enemy safe down to 4%, stealing the win right before the clock hit 0. The enemy team probably boiled their phones after that one.
From the moment quests were introduced in Brawl Stars, players had been dreaming about Ultra quests, but Supercell has avoided the idea completely. These quests would appear at the start of each season and involve insanely tough challenges, like dealing 100 million damage with massive rewards like 100 gems. But let's be real, Supercell doesn't like when we work too hard, or maybe they just don't like giving away stuff for free. Kudos were added to the game to boost players' confidence and spread positivity, but instead they've almost turned into a way to sarcastically call someone a noob. Still, no matter what they mean, just imagine if you could track how many kudos kudos you've given or received. Well, that's essentially what the community suggested, and honestly, if this feature didn't get rejected, I'd probably have a million kudos.
Balootic, you know that's not a good thing, right?
Shut up! If you're playing Showdown on a map with a weird wall setup, use Sprout to ruin someone's day. When your teammate dies for the 100th time, wait for them to respawn and head to a part of the zone surrounded by walls. As they spawn in, they'll think you're just messing with them since they can leave easily. But not so fast. Throw Sprouts' super to block their only escape. This can be even better if you know there's a Barley in the game. Gus's shield is probably the hardest ability to land on teammates since you have to aim it perfectly, but most players know this and will make it easier by walking closer to you. So next time they do that, just aim in the opposite direction and miss on purpose. Wait, don't leave the game! Everyone knows Supercell occasionally drops QR codes for free rewards in Brawl Stars, but this lets you do something evil. Just create a QR code using any online generator and send it to your friend saying it will give them free coins or gems. By the time they realize this is not the case, they'll already be rickrolled. If you're looking to ruin the Brawl Stars experience for your friends, just pick Buzz Lightyear. This brawler is ridiculously overpowered, slicing or lasering down anyone who crosses his path. Sure, it makes winning easy, but it completely destroys the fun. Honestly, I'm glad he's getting removed. Buzz needs a nerf that goes to infinity and beyond. Wanna know how to make your friend hate you by being too chill? Next time you're playing Duo Showdown with someone and your friend is spectating you and have over 15 power cubes and your teammate doesn't have any, just chill around and act as if you don't care, pushing everyone with no hesitation. This only works if you're a regular player though. If you're a pro like me, this will just seem normal. What if you want to troll your friends so bad that you end up behind bars? Just steal their device. Then log into their account with your Supercell ID and buy 1 million gems using their money. Congrats! Now you're being investigated for financial fraud, and your friend's house has been seized by the bank. Okay, feel free to do any other fact in this video. Just don't do this one. Wait! I was joking! Want to disappear in front of your friend like his dad did? Pick Lily. When the 1v1 match starts and your friend thinks they've got the upper hand, just use Lily's teleport to go to her dimension and dodge every bit of damage your friends throw at you. Not only does Lily bend dimensions, but she can make your friend bend their phone in half. Did you know you can make Penny's turret shoot across the entire map? Of course, there's a trusty spyglass gadget for that, but you don't even need it. If you place your turret on top of a teleporter, it'll teleport while still targeting the enemies it locked onto before. This essentially turns your turret into a peekaboo machine, catching enemies completely off guard. Ruff might be the only brawler to deliver actual air support. If you use a jump pad with a teammate, you'll keep raising their max HP even while flying through the air. It's probably the only time in game you can heal mid-flight, but that's not as crazy as this Piper clutch. In this lucky moment, Piper's being chased by her ultimate counter, Mortis. And just as things look hopeless for Piper, she uses her super to escape. Mortis, thinking she's defenseless after landing, moves in for the final blow, only to get completely obliterated by Stu, who takes him out instead. Piper didn't even have to lift a finger, and it made Mortis look like a total noob.
If for some reason you live in China and want to play Brawl Stars but don't have a WeChat, you can still play the game without logging in. However, you won't be able to play the game for more than a single hour every 15 days, or 2 hours every month. That's only 4 minutes every day. You'll barely even have time to queue a game. 4 minutes per day seems crazy, but China, knowing you can't even win a game in 4 minutes, added another feature, surrendering. Let's say you've got 30 seconds left for today, but you just entered the top 3. A tab will pop up on your screen asking if you still want to continue playing the game after entering the top 3. You'll have the option to quit or to continue playing. Do you know what Jesse and Belle have in common? They're both absolute masters at making you rage. Everyone's been there, running for your life with just 1 HP left, thinking you've somehow survived the chaos, only to get sniped by Jesse's stupidly accurate bounce shot or Belle's bullet ricocheting off your clueless teammate halfway across the map. Like, how does that even hit me? I hate this game. One of the most annoying types of players in Brawl Stars ranked are suggest spammers. They'll spam brawler suggestions non-stop, making that notification pop up 1,000 times. But still, that's not as bad as the players who steal your brawler the second the match loads, and then end up being the worst player on the team. Buzz might have just gotten a huge buff with how he switched targets in this moment. In a Brawl Ball match, he used his super on Mandy, who was right in front of him. But instead of stunning her, Buzz suddenly changed direction mid-super and stunned El Primo instead. dead. It's one of those rare moments where Buzz doesn't hold back at all, just like how this Doug wasn't holding back either. In a knockout match, all of his teammates were down, so he teleported behind the enemy, snuck through the bushes, and took out 2 of them on his own. Then, unfortunately, Bo managed to take him out. But Doug used his super just in time, revived himself, and finished off Bo like a true clutch king. Now that's a real wiener.
Most players alternate between winning and losing non-stop, but what if you could do both at the same time? Well, it turns out this is actually possible, as when a player named Tomato753 noticed his trophy gains didn't match what he had earned, he checked his matches, only to notice that while he was queued into a game that he won, his account had also been queued into a second game, with a bot taking his place. Not only that, but you can see the games are only 6 seconds apart, proving that he managed to be in 2 places at once. If I had this superpower, you would never see me at school. Well, you would, it just wouldn't be me? How does this make any sense? Did you know Supercell rejected tons of Brawl Stars logo designs before picking the one we all know today? If you've ever seen the official Brawl Stars artwork book, there's a whole page showcasing these scrapped ideas, and surprisingly, they all look almost identical. Honestly, these rejected logos might not have made it into the game, but they look cool as stickers. Did you know Brawl Stars was almost called Project Laser? That's right. Originally, it was going to be a futuristic, space-themed game instead of the Wild West-inspired one we know today. The concept included rockets and sci-fi pickups, and some of these assets were even left in the game files by accident. While the idea of Project Laser sounds pretty cool, it's hard to imagine Brawl Stars without its iconic Western vibe. If I asked you about the most annoying pin, you'd probably say it's the thumbs down or clown emoji, but nope, there's one that's even worse. The Baby Shark pin. Why? Because every time you use it, it plays a small part of the Baby Shark song, and it's super annoying. So, if you're a troll, just spam this pin at your friends until they can't take it anymore. Oh, what? You think you can just mute pins? Well, what if I place a pin outside your window? Speaking of Shade, if you're playing him, uninstall the game. Just kidding. But here's a wild trick you can try. First, have someone destroy a wall, then get Gale to place his jump pad. After that, let Jackie rebuild the wall and phase through it. Now, here's the crazy part. You'll actually be able to jump on the pad even though it's inside the wall. Everyone knows Buzz is a lifeguard, but does that make him able to attack enemies on water? Well, most of you probably thought that he can't attack enemies on water as his range is too short for it. However, if you have his super fully charged, you can use it on enemies that are hovering over water and completely stun them. Of course, after you've stunned them, you'll be teleported to land, so make sure you have your friend pick a ranged brawler to finish them off.
If you're a Gus main, you probably remember the pain of fighting brawlers that could fly over water. Back in the day, there was a glitch that stopped Gus's shots from going over water. So if you were up against someone like Angelo, he could easily snipe you while your balloon would just stop at the edge of the water. I guess Supercell didn't inflate his balloons enough. Did you know players can reject your invite? Well, I didn't because, well, I have no friends. Okay, but seriously, it's so frustrating when a friend you usually play with rejects your invite right in front of your face. Like, they're online all day, but suddenly they found someone better to play with? Honestly, I'd consider that cheating. How dare you? Speaking of friends, something even worse than rejecting an invite is when your friend leaves the game without telling you. You start a match, see the loading screen, and then boom, your friend is tagged with the offline text. Like, at least say you're leaving. Now I'm just gonna have to find out where you're hiding. Okay, maybe that's a good way to end up in jail.
While Sprout can push bosses around with ease, did you know it can also move Ikes? If you're unfamiliar, Ikes are the turrets you need to destroy to win certain game modes. But if you aim Sprouts' super just right, you can actually move the Ike across the battlefield. Just imagine if 2 Ikes encountered each other. I think Brawl Stars' servers would actually explode. Did you know you can literally invade other players' lobbies? All you have to do is open the Join Team code menu, create your own code, and copy it. Then, by simply changing the last number in the code and trying a few variations, you'll eventually sneak into a random player's lobby, and you can throw all their games. Wait, why did you kick me?
Getting eliminated is already frustrating, but it's even worse when you've just charged up your hypercharge, ready to demolish the enemy team, only to get instantly killed the moment you activate it. There should definitely be some kind of short invisibility window after using a hypercharge. Seeing Mandy in Knockout is probably every player's worst nightmare, and it's all because of her super. Imagine you're walking toward the middle with your team, all grouped up, and then bam, Mandy's super comes straight at all 3 of you. Yeah, that's when you know it's time to log off for the day. Everyone loves power cubes, but you've probably had the moment where someone swoops in and steals a cube right after you open a box or took down an enemy right in front of your brawler. This is especially frustrating when you're playing Piper since her shots only deal high damage from a distance, meaning you can't grab the cube fast enough. We seriously need to start saying swiper no swiping.
Supercell will make make you pay to enter the training grounds. Okay, not really, but did you know there's a time limit in the training cave? In case you want to test this out, if you stay in there for about 13 minutes, the match will end. Does Supercell not want me to get better? I need to shoot these defenseless bots forever.